Ahoy, ahoy! It's louisity again, and for this video, I'm going to be doing a bookish challenge called Best and Worst Books on My Bookshelf Challenge. Hooray! So this challenge was created by Hailey in Bookland. I'm going to be putting down the link of her challenge, the original one, down below in the description box. And I know that my booktuber idol Jesse the Reader did this as well, and actually ever since that Hailey posted this, I really wanted to do it, so I guess this is the right time for me to do it. So let us begin.
So this is kind of like a bookshelf tour, kind of like video, kind of like showing you how my shelves look like. So this is like the top layer, which consists of the Harry Potter series, Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, Fallen series, the Dark Divine trilogy, the Millennium trilogy, the Hunger Games, and there is Twilight. So the best one, I'm not going to be pulling them out because, I'm on top of my bed right now. And actually, I'm just afraid that some things might fall. This bookshelf is quite full, as you can see. There you go. Yeah, there. So I'm just going to be mentioning and try to zoom into the book that is like the best or the worst. So the best one in this shelf would have to be The Last Olympian by Riordan. Y'all know how I felt about this book. It's not only like an action-packed narrative, but also it had all these subtle messages that made you contemplate. Like some of the scenes here, the dialogues are going to make you contemplate about things in life. So just awesome. And the one that I would have to pick as the worst of this shelf would have to be that one right over there, that one hand. Yes, it's just like I felt like I was just reading in circles about it. Twilight, it was just about Bella and Edward flirting with each other, and I'm like, it just wasn't um, the best reading experience. And yeah, the narrative, the way the narrative was written, it was just quite awkward. So yeah, it's actually the book that I had the worst reading experience, just because it just went around circles, and then suddenly the action suddenly rose. So which was kind of weird. So this is my second shelf. As you can see, on the left side are more of the general fictions. Those are the general fictions that I bought towards the latter years. So that includes, of course, The Longest Ride by Nicholas Sparks, Daniel Steele sisters, and then of course Belong to Me by Marissa De Los Santos. And yeah, those are just although that's just the only book that I have of Marissa. And also these other, there's some nonfiction here and some contemporary, a little bit of historical fiction right over there. And there's some sort of a sci-fi book towards the end, but this is mostly contemporary standalones, I think, except for Shine, who is gonna have a sequel, and actually Belong to Me is a sequel. So I just found out about that when I was about to pick up the book. So haha to me. So I'm going to announce to you which is the best and worst.
So the best one in that shelf would have to be I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maureen Gu. As y'all know, this is one of the best books that I read in 2021. And it was the book of the month for Blu-ray Book Club in January. And oh my goodness, it's a feel-good kind of book, at times contemplative. And it's just something if you want to read something that is just gonna brighten your day, and you're just in the mood for some laughter, and at the same time you just want something that's not going to squeeze your brain a lot, if that makes any sense. You're watching this cute rom-com kind of interesting story about I am successful with almost anything except for relationships, and then creating a formula out of the Korean drama series. So that was like what it's all about. Like Desi here, like she excels at a lot of things except like relationships, and she was inspired by her dad, who was interested with Korean dramas, and like she came up like with a list based on the episodes that on the drama that she was like watching. So I felt like that was interesting, and throughout the book, it really unleashed emotions out of me, which is very important because like I've been saying this again and again in like almost every videos, an effective book would have to be something that would like unleash reactions out of you. Like that's what a powerful media is, and books is a form of media. Mm. And the least one or the worst one, and I mentioned this back in 2019 as one of like my disappointing reads, and that would have to be America's Not the Heart by Elaine Castillo. Now, I would have to say that there is a me thing. Well, for the most part, it has of course a me thing of like the book isn't for you and something like that. And at the same time, I'm being honest about like my reading experience. So what I felt like, and to be honest, I feel like I was kind of like expecting something out of this book because from the title itself, and the way that it was kind of like being shelled, it's like, ooh, it's from like an international Filipino author. Well, technically, Elaine Castillo's Phil M, who's based, I believe she's based in the Bay Area in California. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I was expecting about like, why is America not the heart? And like, there were scenes that was able to depict that. There was that scene where they were talking about like even if you have let's say a degree like a bachelor's degree, or like in this case like engineering or like health, science STEM degree, um, you can still end up with a job that is like far from it, and sometimes the wage that you're being paid for is like a lot less compared to like, let's say if you're doing the profession that's more in line with the degree that you took. So, and that's kind of like, it doesn't only happen in the United States, but like to almost any Filipino that's like trying to work overseas when they don't really have like, let's say, the experience in that place, or if they don't know anyone that can get them, like for example, like you may have an engineering degree, but when you move to another place, your job is like more of a blue collar job. Not that a blue collar job is like something to be ashamed of, but like that's like it just depicted like that reality that happens to like Filipinos. I remember that show from like, it's entitled Maalala Mo. Yeah, but the thing that I didn't kind of like maybe appreciate is like it still lacked that like, aside from that, it's like what else, like in this chunk of the book, why is America not the heart? And towards like the end, and it is something that I would recommend if you're looking for more like sapphic romances, like Filipino sapphic romances. Perhaps maybe this would be a book for you. And like I said, it's kind of like a me thing because I was like more leaning towards like, why is America not the heart? And towards like the latter parts, it was more of like a love triangle kind of thing, which I wasn't really expecting for in my reading experience. It kind of like veered to that direction where it focused on like like, and I'm like, I don't really mind like romances in the story, which it's not like it just, to me, like it wasn't like, why is America not the heart, I guess it's like to me. And like I said, like it veered towards that direction where it's more of like it revolved around the love triangle, the sapphic romance, which wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And why is America not the heart? And sometimes I also think to myself, maybe because I don't have any family members living in Milpitas or San Jose, that's why I wasn't, in terms of like me and the narrative, it's like we just didn't like gel together. So I mean, but yeah, I'd have to be honest. Like I wasn't really expecting more, and yeah.
So this is like my third shelf, like the second level, and this like zigzag bookshelf that I have here. So this is more of like my series collection. So these are some young adult fantasies. I kind of like arrange my books by size. So most of these are like young adult fantasies. I do consider Six of Crows series is kind of like adult. It just feels so adult to me, but I know it's technically young adult. So, and then of course there's the Heroes of the Olympus series, and there's some middle grade towards that little corner right there with Melissa De La Cruz, and of course the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy. So, which is the best and which one's the worst?
So the best in that shelf would have to be The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan, which is the first book in the Heroes of the Olympus series. And I think I've mentioned this in some comments or in some videos that this is like the best in the Heroes of the Olympus series. I'd say that this gave me the best reading experience. Like I gave it perfect 5 out of 5 because it's like it was just like great to read it despite Percy not being here, and it really took me to different places. And I'm kind of like fascinated with the United States geography. So this book was able to depict like different places, and I was like curious. I remember like they went to the Wind City, which is Chicago, and then they went to Nebraska, and then I think there was a part where they went to Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this book is just so great. It's like a great start, and like it set the bar. And the worst in that shelf, I think you already saw, and if you've been watching my videos, and if y'all know me, need to say more? My reading vlog says it all. I am currently reading Crooked Kingdom as I'm filming this video, and we'll see how I think about that. But this one is just like I could hardly remember what happened here. It's just like the narrative just didn't resonate, and the narrative was just not captivating. Like the worst read of 2020.
And this is the last shelf, so it's pretty much like some standalones, some different genres like literary fiction, contemporary, general fiction. Well, general fiction is kind of like contemporary, like contemporary romance, That's like how the genre was called when most of these books were released. Like Daniel Steele was considered more as like a general adult fiction writer. Most of her stories are contemporary. Not all of them involve like a romantic relationship. Some of them deal with family, and yes, some Nicholas Sparks right over there towards towards the right side. And there's like a little Chicken Soup for the Soul. I miss those mass market paperback Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I hope that they release more of that. And yeah, there's the other like two Chicken Soup for the Soul. There's Committed by Elizabeth Gilbert. So yeah, and Before Ever After by Samantha Sados. Yeah.
So the best book of that shelf would have to be Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. Now this happens to be like, well, it's not just like a romance story because definitely it has romance elements or romantic elements, but it has suspense or thriller elements because this follows like a woman who decided to move to another town or city because somebody was like abusing her. So yeah, and then yeah, like it's throughout the story it was like kind of like chilling, and you're kind of like nervous for what's going to happen in the situation with the characters and all. So basically it's definitely a fascinating story that's just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, See Me is like another level of thriller, but this one's like one of the loveliest, like one of the best books written by Nicholas Sparks. And the worst one in that shelf would have to be Almost Moon by Alice Bold. Now, I hardly remember any of this one. Like, the narrative didn't really have that much impact. I know it is quite dark, and I have thoughts of like, rereading it. I bought this for like $1. Like, if you're gonna be converting it, if you're gonna be converting peso to $1, it's like about $1. So but yeah, it doesn't really have like the best ratings in Goodreads as well. Maybe that influenced me, but like who knows? Maybe if I reread it, I'll have a better reading experience. feel free to do this challenge, and if you did, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. So, I hope you folks enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, since I mentioned about Almost Moon by Alice Bold, leave this moon emoji if you've made it this far. So, I hope you folks liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon so we're down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. And I'll also be putting down links and handles of my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out and follow me there as well. As always, thank you super much for watching. Always be thankful and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all.